Mama turns all negative activity around. Mama, we the daughters of Earth, the sweet crone Trinity, have been inspired in the spirit of compassion for the well-being of our ancient cosmic family. To understand why you connected this trio to demonstrate the magic of your power to awaken and protect our universal ancient family. Welcome to Talk with MamaYAH on Truth Uncompromised. Mama, empower our ability with the authority of our common purpose. We are one in the best interest of our global family. In your essence as ancient of ancients, Mama, please allow this Trinity to naturally raise upright our fallen sisters, to elevate them to their true celestial level in mind and spiritual substance. The sweet crone Trinity, MamaYAH, Sister Myra, and Sila Eliana Bay. Good evening. This is MamaYAH Molina Bay. Tonight, we will be discussing envisioning and spelling. To envision is a verb, and it means to imagine as a future possibility, to visualize. For instance, she envisioned the admiring glance of her beloved. A spell is a charm, an invocation, or hex, set of words, spoken or unspoken, which are considered by its user to invoke some magical effect. Historical attestations exist for the use of some variety of incantations in many cultures around the world. Personally, I see spelling as what many people see praying, meditating, invoking. When you pray or cast a spell, you are expecting a magical effect. This reading tonight is at divineconnectionchurch.wordpress.com, so you can follow along with the reading tonight. You go to divineconnectionchurch.wordpress.com. The performance of magic almost always involves the use of language. Whether spoken out loud or unspoken, words are frequently used to access or guide magical power. In The Magical Power of Words by S.J. Tambia in 1968, he argues that the connection between language and magic is due to a belief in the inherent ability of words to influence the universe. Bronislaw Malinowski in Coral Gardens and Their Magic, 1935, suggested that this belief is an extension of man's basic use of language to describe his surroundings, in which the knowledge of the right words, appropriate phrases, and the more highly developed forms of speech gives mankind a power over and above its own limited field of personal action. Magical speech is therefore a ritual act and is of equal or even greater importance to the performance of magic than nonverbal acts. Not all speech is considered magical. Only certain words and phrases or words spoken in a specific context are considered to have magical power. Magical language, according to Ogden and Richards, 1923, categories of speech is distinct from scientific language because it is emotive and it converts words into symbols for emotions, whereas in scientific language, words are tied to specific meanings and refer to an objective external reality. Magical language is therefore particularly adept at constructing metaphors that establish symbols and link magical rituals to the world. Malinowski argues that the language of magic is sacred, set and used for an entirely different purpose to that of ordinary life. The two forms of language are differentiated through word choice, grammar, style, by the use of specific phrases or forms. Prayers, spells, songs, blessings, or chants, for example. Sacred modes of language often employ archaic words and forms in an attempt to invoke the purity or truth of a religious or a cultural golden age. The use of Hebrew in Judaism is an example. Another potential source of the power of words is their secrecy and exclusivity. Much sacred language is differentiated enough from common language that it is incomprehensible to the majority of the population, and it can only be used and interpreted by specialized practitioners, magicians, priests, shamans, even mullahs. In this respect, Tambia argues that magical languages violate the primary function of language, which is communication. Yet adherents of magic are still able to use and to value the magical function of words by believing in the inherent power of the words themselves and in the meaning that they must provide for those who do understand them. This leads Tambia to conclude that the remarkable disjunction between sacred and profane language, which exists as a general fact, is not necessarily linked to the need to embody sacred words in an exclusive language. The source of that reading is Wikipedia. This week I came upon a reading, Why the Teachings of the Ascended Masters Are Important to Embrace Now. And that is a blog talk radio show that is linked at the blog post that I put up today on Envisioning and Spelling at divineconnectionchurch.wordpress.com. It appears that I've lost connection. It appears that I lost connection, so I'm going to open the queue. Can someone please raise their hand by hitting *6 and come in and let me know when you lost, when you stopped hearing me? Is 313 or 870. Can you please just raise your hand and let me know when you lost what I was saying? Okay. I'll continue to read. Rather than to have you think that I accept everything that I read here, I'm going to read to you from a post that I put up several years ago about my experience with metaphysics. I'm not quite sure if you can hear me on the board, so I really need someone to just come in and say, yes, we can hear you. Hello. Okay, I do see that I'm there, so I'll continue to read. I've studied metaphysics since I was 21, and that was 4 decades ago. I have known since I was 5 that I am special, connected to something higher. By the age of 21, I began my search for divinity by visiting the Theosophical Society in New York, numerous meditation centers in Florida, and even a metaphysical center on a Swiss mountaintop. At every juncture, I learned about people and their relationship to the divine, consciously linking their search for divinity to my own. My Catholic upbringing gave me much food for thought because of my Cherokee, Arawak, and African heritage. In all my years as a Catholic, I never saw a priest or a nun of color, which I considered an affront to all children because children need to identify with their teachers and guides. Aside from the color dynamic, there was always hellfire and brimstone, guilt trips and sin, the requirement for Catholic school students to attend church every day, as well as the outright hypocrisy of a clergy that smoked cigarettes, drank liquor, and did all the things they told us kids not to do. After I freed myself from Catholicism, a timely visit to a New Age bookstore led me to books about yogi philosophy, the science of breath, and the mystics of Christianity, to name a few. These books showed me how to take control of my inner self and to avoid concerning myself with overanalyzing, criticizing, and coaching others. While I gave my 9-year-old son the book Yogi Philosophy, and I told others about the other books I have read, I hesitated to take on the role of teacher, master, or guide, because each of us is his or her own journey to divinity. When I explored Krishna consciousness, I didn't do handouts at the airport, but I went to the temple in Philadelphia, wore the sari, participated in ritual, and ate food I loved. I also read the Bhagavad Gita and visited the shrine of Prabhupada in New York. I am still Krishna conscious, although I don't partake of the rituals anymore. From the ages of 30 to 50, music served as my divine expression. I sang for a living. I enjoyed performing, and people responded in kind, letting me know they enjoyed my work. So I often felt my voice was a gift I had to use for good. You can read that at the link Finding My Way by Joan Cartwright on the blog post for Envisioning and Spelling this evening at divineconnectionchurch.wordpress.com. I'll continue with a reading from the Vision Alignment Project, A Vision for the Highest Light. We envision us living in a world where everyone sees everyone else in their highest light, where everyone sees the God spark in everyone else, and where everyone holds a vision in their mind of everyone else living their lives happily, healthfully, freely, abundantly, and fulfilled in every way. We imagine us living in a world where people everywhere now understand the difference between our preferences and our judgments, where we understand that each has their preferences. For instance, I like chocolate, you like vanilla, but that it does not serve us whatsoever to judge another, because they might like chocolate or they might like vanilla, and you don't care for it. We see them in their highest light, regardless of all their predilections, proclivities, and preferences. And now that we are seeing each other in the highest light, it's easy for us to take the next step and see our entire world in its highest light. And we hold that vision, knowing that our thoughts are creating our future until we are experiencing it all around us. Indeed, we have created an amazing, extraordinary new world for ourselves simply by enough of us holding the thought of it in its highest light. Next, the question is, how joyful are you right now? There's a video, The Most Urgent Thing in Life, that is posted on the blog, and the video is by Sadhguru. And I think you'll enjoy it. So go to divineconnectionchurch.wordpress.com after this call and watch that video. This is the 9th anniversary of GoGratitude.com, which I joined 9 years ago, and I did the exercises, and I also just rejoined them to reconnect with the idea of Go Gratitude, which deals with appreciating the universe and allowing the universe to fill your life with the things that you appreciate more and more. The next reading is a message from MamaYAH through Elizabeth Trutwin on May 27, 2016, entitled, God is a Particle and a Wave, Pure Consciousness. Within the infinite cosmos is a multiverse of 7 universes. There are 6 antimatter universes, which are of pure light. One universe called Nebadon, where you live, is a dark matter universe. Each of the 7 super universes radiate out like spokes on a wheel from a core hub where the central race exists. The central race are expert geneticists who created 7 template blueprints of DNA. One template blueprint is the humanoid, and it has been crossed with 120 large animals to make hybrids. It also has been crossed with other things as well. There are 200,000 humanoid species within the Milky Way galaxy. Within the Milky Way galaxy is the solar system and a planet called Earth with extreme importance. Floating around the universe Nebadon, one could imagine only 1 drop of water per square mile. On that small drop of water could be found only a part of the drop held microbial life. Of that small amount of microbial life, a single quantum particle is able to sustain complex sentient life. That is how rare Earth is. That is how rare planets, which hold sentient life, are in comparison with how big the infinite cosmos is. The solar system holds some of the most significant life forms in the Milky Way galaxy. Earth is a genetic library of life forms, both in and on Earth, which are like a currency with no price tag, just for the DNA alone. This is what captures the attention of extraterrestrials with a wide range of interests. Some would love nothing more than to own and occupy Earth. Some have even attempted this. Let me explain more. Billions of years ago, there were light beings. It has been written these formless ones constituted the root races. The initial creation of space, stars, planets, moons, suns, and genetically designed beings born of the stars completed their hand in creation. The central race were the children of these light beings. The central race are expert geneticists and have made the humanoid template blueprints for the material universe and many other template blueprints for the other 6 non-material universes. The humanoid template can carry a soul and evolve. It consists of programmed DNA, which is affected by material programming and non-material programming. From the root races, we also have angels. Angels cannot hold a soul. They are formless and can take on a physical body at will. They can move between the form and formless universes, and they are not subject to ascension or karma. They are 12th-dimensional beings, above. They are also known as extraterrestrial, and that is why they are depicted with wings. Angels cannot physically mate. Angels are intermediaries between humans and their creators, called the central race. There came a time where an angel, his twin flame, his son, and his son's twin flame broke off from the other angels. After this angel inquired with the central race for permission to have angels carry souls to be able to mate with daughters of men on earth. And instead of being intermediaries to humans, they desired becoming part of humanity and going into karma with them. The central race said no. At that moment, the angels, Jehovah, his wife Lilith, his son Lucifer, and his wife Cruella broke away from the light matter universe on and entered the dark matter universe, Nebadon. They recruited several angels to join them. Once there, duality played a role, and Lilith broke off from Jehovah, first by having sex with her son, Lucifer. The result was Lilith and Cruella were broken off in the very first battle of the sexes. More angels joined Jehovah in the Draco's constellation, and this began the dragon-human hybrid races. More angels joined Lucifer in the Orion constellation at Rigel, and other such stars in Orion, and these became the humanoid grades. They are the angels who began a new race, also soulless. Against the advice of the central race, Jehovah and Lucifer and their legions of angels chose a few of their kind to mate with women on earth. This made offspring who carried souls. The angels have human children, no matter their origin, looked exactly like humans on earth. Their altered DNA is reflected in their lifestyle choices. This began the era of fallen angels because mixing the DNA of races broke universal law. It caused the fall of these angels from the 100th to the 12th and the 5th, and finally the 3rd dimension. They became earthbound while retaining adept abilities and knowledge. They became bound to karma and the need to ascend. It is possible to reproduce without intercourse. When a fallen angel came together with a human woman, then they seeded the DNA into a membrane in the quantum world reality. This made a pregnancy within the woman, and hybrid children were the result. Human and dragon, human and gray, human and other animal forms. They received the soul due to their human origins and became subject to karma and the need to ascend. Confusion comes in because the central race also created hybrids, which would never have fallen. It is a very big universe. Not all parts of this story can yet be understood. Earth has had past periods of pristine abundance with humans, angels, and animals living together in perfect harmony. The Adam and Eve story is about the genetic hybridization of the fallen angels who, through tasting the tree of knowledge, made themselves prisoners on earth with dumbed-down DNA. I'm just checking the board right now. I'm going to open. If anyone would like to raise their hand, *6. Okay, I'll continue to read. So, this is the explanation of malevolent and benevolent extraterrestrials. Simply, not from Earth, neither are they alien to Earth. These angels also altered their own DNA. They created a new synthetic race called android, which looked humanoid and carried all the requirements which a fallen angel needed and held no DNA. There's a great amount of confusion out there since the fallen angels look human. The androids look human. Many androids also look like grays. There was an android involved with the Roswell crash. Some were the grays. The angels who never fell, when taking on human form, also look human. Only the grays are not confused with the other. Besides that, the malevolent angels who look human have now spread misinformation all over the internet to enslave parts of the human race. One of the biggest is revaluation of currency, stealing retirement funds from unsuspecting light workers to have the money they need for black ops. They own the banks, after all. When they ran out of money, then they simply stole it from money market accounts and investment funds held in their banks. It is possible not all of this makes sense to you today. That's fine. It is time to begin to know the truth about Earth history within a galactic history. When the ship of 144,000 was originally commandeered by Jehovah and with Sananda on board, and for those of you who understand the ascension, the ascended masters, Sananda is Jesus on the inner circle. It crash landed into the Nebadon universe at the Pleiades. Since then, the Near Star Nation have all had refugees who were victims of the wars which ensued over not only owning Earth, but about 37 other planets in the near neighborhood, which also held repositories of natural resources. God is a particle and a wave. This is how the Trimurti, or the Holy Trinity, at the Godhead work. Those who do not believe in a God need not change their thinking. Think of it all as consciousness. caged into all that is. The Shiva Lingam in Hindu tradition, with the yoni of mother, have the physical meaning of the male and female sex organs. They have the esoteric meaning of the divine feminine and the divine masculine required in all creation. They have a mystical meaning of being singular and plural at the same time. 1 + 2 = 3, Trinity. The divine masculine energy, the unification force, permeating all things from the inner world of the subatomic particle to the outer world of nebulae, birthing new stars. These stars are made up of ions, which come down to Earth as plasma energy, the fourth state of matter, cosmic rays, as molecules of carbon, silica, iron, hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, and boron, gold, and platinum. The DNA within the humanoid template blueprint is programmed for many things, both material and non-material. Of those are that humans are made from the same materials as the stars. The cosmos is within the body and without. You are the cosmos. Human DNA is programmed for emotions and love. It also is programmed to self-realize. The unification force is that consciousness which is active and is in every cell of everything in all of creation. The divine feminine energy, that which all things are born from, it permeates all things as the primordial energy without which life would be absent. The absolute. Love. Mother's yoni is both programmed into the X chromosome as well as galactic center. The black hole, which connects the dark matter universe, Nebadon, back to the light matter universe, on through which all of us were born. The cosmos is within the body and without. You are the cosmos. Human DNA is programmed for two to become one. Twin flames, consorts. The mother energy is that passive force of loyalty, service, and oneness. God is a particle and a wave. The cosmos is within the body and without. That is God as a particle incarnate into a human body. The potential for new life is held within our bodies as either eggs or sperm with the complete 23 chromosomes, the 23rd being either X or Y, complete. God is a wave, is the ethereal nature of primordial energy, laying out the energy needed that the unification force clings to. It is love, light, and magnetism, inseparable. The 13 families of the bloodlines on earth are from the same bloodlines of the fallen angels, going all the way back to the beginning. They have genetically altered their DNA to remove at least the last 2 strands of the 12 strands of DNA. This has resulted in them not being able to connect to emotions or love. The 11th strand of DNA connects to our emotions, and the 12th connects to our ability to be loved. There's this lack of DNA material which makes it possible for them to participate in atrocities without remorse. This loss also makes for a fear of extinction. Their fear of survival is so strong that they have developed a very powerful group mind. There is much disinformation circulating about this story. These ones work in secret. They own the oil, banks, the corporations, and governments. Just because they own so much does not mean they have power. Each day that goes by, they lose their grip. They are scared beyond belief now. They know they are not long for this world, and they will be leaving through the Scorpio black hole. As you pursue your own ascension, your transcendence of life on earth, reconnect with your cosmic origins, raise your consciousness by meditating on the infinitesimal magnetic field of the consciousness. The subatomic particles which make up your body are under the influence of a sophisticated force amplification technology. The subatomic particles nest inside infinitesimal magnetic fields as an interconnected web of thought circuits, taken collectively, make up the outer edge of the unification force. We call this collective consciousness. Without love, the mind-body is not prepared to connect to the soul. The Holy Trinity, Father, mind, Son, body, and Holy Spirit, soul. These word analogies can be used for what the Buddhists term consciousness. There is no need to identify with a personal God or any form of religion or even spirituality. These concepts are proven in quantum physics. The scientific method has proven there is a particle and a force making up the 3 in 1. There is no reason to fear. There are some malevolent extraterrestrials trying to take over the planet for their own plan of possession of a priceless resource. They already have. Angels are extraterrestrials, and extraterrestrials are angels. This is why angels appear human with the addition of wings. The DNA templates in the multiverse reflect 200,000 humanoid life forms. One of the nominees in the American presidential election is an Archon, and one is a dragon hybrid. Both are from the 13 families. One is a Rothschild, and the other Dutch royalty. The absolute obvious corruption is a reflection of everything dissolving on the causal realm, where one may view thought forms destined to come into existence. Those fallen angels either have returned back to love or they are preparing to leave now. The only way to free Earth is to understand that the stories you have heard about bad extraterrestrials and good extraterrestrials are exaggerated beyond reality. Truly, it is the angels who never fell and the fallen angels. These terms are interchangeable. Anyone who believes otherwise buys into a tale designed to divide you. The fallen angels from the 13 families who are adept with unlimited abilities have built deep underground military bases where those who look like graves work to reverse engineer technology and have missions in space where wars are waged. They are exploring space, landing on other planets, mining rare resources, and flying them back to Earth with the speed of magnetic light. The rich get richer. The only way to save the human race is to expose them to these dark beings for what they are. They are in military, corporations, science, academia, and government. There is a group in our realm which helps to protect Earth. This sector of the Milky Way galaxy and near neighbors from nuclear holocausts. This is Sananda as Admiral in Ashtar, as captain of the Galactic Federation. The Central Race will not spare anything to protect their genetic creations. They also will not interfere with an intelligent life form. Liken it to parents allowing their children to go through hard times to become strong. Evolution. What is happening now is that the conditions at Earth and these other 37 planets fell so far into darkness that an end has been called. It involves informing everyone on the planet at the same time about the galactic origins and freeing them back into the abundance, which is their birthright. Abundance of land, clean water, education, healing, offspring, good food, home, love, money, wisdom, freedom, and all forms of abundance. Get together on this task. Help one another. Remember where you came from. Remember who you are. Dear angel, return to love. This is MamaYAH through Elizabeth Tretwin, May 27, 2016. And the link is cosmicascension.org. I thank you for your patience and listening. And so would you please hit *6, and you may come in and ask a question, make a statement about what you've heard. And today we're talking about envisioning a new world and speaking or spelling what you want to see in the new world, as you are the co-creators with the universe. This is MamaYAH, and tonight is talk on envisioning and spelling. Does anybody have a question or a comment? Hit *6. Don't make me call your name. I know you're there. There we go. Okay, 256. Who's calling?
Love and Light. This is Amira in Alabama.
Hi, Amira. I can always count on you.
Well, I thought I'd just sit back and listen tonight. And I didn't see nobody jumping in there, so I said, hey, opportunity.
Come on in.
So I was thinking, oh, my puppy, I'm sorry. Get off the porch. Go. About what you were saying about our mission last week, to think about it, our purpose.
About what? Because I didn't hear you well.
Our purpose, what we thought our mission or purpose is. So I've been thinking about it all week, and I really can't define it yet. So I figured I'd just chime in and let you know that I am working on it, but it's just not coming clear. I know I want to work for, humanity, uplift humanity, but being specific how I'm going to be able to do it or what area, I just don't see it. So I'm just going to keep listening and keep working on this side to define my purpose.
Well, again, maybe you're not writing down things. Let me tell you, the reading that I did of my own journey, Finding My Way, was posted in 2003, which was 13 years ago. And I just read that it says, so I often felt My voice was a gift I had to use for good. And this call has enabled me to do that. Now, I just read this tonight, and this is 13 years after I read it. So I wrote it. So I'm saying that you don't have to rush to your purpose. It's not the destination. It's the journey getting there. The question is, are you paying attention to yourself to know your purpose?
Yes, I do journal. I do my journaling, but it just hasn't come yet.
Okay. Well, I keep going back to the Matrix, where the key maker. Did you see the series, The Matrix?
Yes.
And do you recall the key maker? I think he was in the third one.
Oh, no.
He was either in the second or the third one. Well, this man lived all of his life. He was well into his 50s, 60s, maybe even older than that. And his sole purpose was to open a door. So every person has a purpose. And you can't base your purpose upon what you think somebody else thinks your purpose is. So you're seeking.
Okay, I yield.
Okay. I hope you'll be here next week, too. Okay. We have, and I know who this is, Anonymous, your mic is open.
I thank you, beloved Master, beloved Ascended Master, MamaYAH, for taking my call. Hey, I also apologize. I got here late, but I got here. But anyway, I know being you are an Ascended Master, the material was all as beautiful as what little bit I did here, so I really can't comment much on it, but I do thank you for the delivery as always. And keep up the good work. You're doing a beautiful job. If those that are listening, if they're listening and paying attention, it cannot help but raise their frequency. And with that, I yield.
Well, thank you. It's okay if I call your name, right?
Sure.
Okay, Tom, thank you. And you can go to divineconnectionchurch.wordpress.com and click on Envisioning Spelling, and you'll see everything that I read tonight. And there is a video there. There's a Blog Talk radio show about the Ascended Masters, why it's important to know about them now. And Finding My Way is my own journey. It's 3 pages, and it's just my personal journey into myself. You can call it spirituality, self-awareness, awakening, ascension, whatever you want. There are so many different words, just like we have so many different languages.
Yeah, well, prayerfully, sister, I will be able to go on the replay and listen because I'm not on the Internet. I live here in rural America, but I definitely will attempt. There's been some difficulties on this network lately, but I fully intend to listen to the replay, and that'll bring me up to speed. And I definitely know that we're all on a spiritual ascension path. It's just some of us are at different points on our journey, But anyway, Ascended Master, I thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Tom. I'm going to read some more from Finding My Way. So I often felt that my voice was a gift I had to use for good. After touring Europe for 8 years and living in a tiny room located in a tiny Swiss town for more than 2 years, I found myself fulfilling my divine purpose. Within those 20 years of performing, I not only had produced a CD feeling good, I had married a young Muslim husband, too. I was 45, fulfilled and content. Islam originally entered my life through a group of musicians I worked with. They spoke some Arabic, followed the food regulations, and read the Quran, which I have read some of, though not all. The musicians, all men, always treated me with respect. I also had 2 female Islamic friends. One was fanatical about the practices, while the other, in my opinion, had a healthy relationship with Islam. She fed her children the right foods, prayed daily, and kept a clean Muslim home where people took their shoes off at the door. After touring Europe, I had met and married a Muslim man from the Gambia. While touring Europe as a jazz singer, I lived with him for 3 years. We were married for 5 and are still friendly. In fact, we love each other very much. My Muslim husband changed my mind about men because he is gentle, non-assuming, private, humble, and clean. He worked hard, both at his job and at home. Other than my father, my Muslim husband is also the only man I ever lived with who cleaned floors every week, among other things. He truly amazed me. Being married to this man, after having 3 husbands steeped in Western thought, felt much more pleasant. During this time, I also studied the Keys of Enoch. I cannot say I understood that book, but I learned about the Merkaba circle and other dimensional travel. I'd been familiar with astral travel since I was young, but the concept of the Merkaba came up later in a few New Age books I was reading. As always, though, life offers many turns in the road we travel. After moving back to the States, where the exchange between artist and audience is not quite the same, I grew tired of entertaining people for a living and searched for another means of expressing my inner self. I joined a group of artists in my community and helped to found the African World Artists Collective of South Florida. I learned website design and made sites for the organization and some of its members, after which clients appeared who paid me to make their sites. A new business bloomed into being. Eventually, with the money from my business, I opened an art gallery where we held book signings, art receptions, and spiritual events. My partner, Omion, was a visionary who read and taught tarot. We both aimed to enhance the lives of people visiting the gallery, and we were successful at doing that. Once I surfed the web, I came across Spirit Web, which had links to all the books and names I am familiar with, including the Ascended Masters. I later found Global Goddess, while searching for goddesses. In all of my searching, I have found and truly believe that I am only a beacon for others to see the way, that I am responsible for my own light, that the brighter I shine from within, the more I encourage others to shine, which is my true purpose. I've discovered I am a work in progress, an energy storehouse, a keeper of the light, a light worker. I'm going to stop right now. Would anyone like to hit *6 and come in? You're welcome to make a comment, ask a question. And tonight we're talking about envisioning and spelling, speaking the world that we want to see into existence. I'll continue to read from Finding My Way, which is my testament to enlightenment. For years, friends I considered wise had encouraged me to improve my life by using affirmations. I had read books on the subject and had uttered those affirmations, but I just didn't get it for a long time. Then I realized that affirmations are simple thoughts spoken out loud about making the world a positive place. None of this had made real sense to me, but the insight clicked when I finally wrote my own affirmations and felt my world become more positive as a result. Now I have 20 journals. Now I have 35 journals filled with affirmations I've used to improve my world. As co-creator with the universe, I am happy to enlighten others and communicate with the enlightened. I feel blessed with abundance, strength, wisdom, joy, love, and happiness. I feel fortunate, and I wish to assist others in attaining this state of being. I'm also grateful to Spirit for holding me in focus so that I may see the fruits of my higher self's labors. With affirmations, I call on my higher self to supply my body with any and all things necessary for my well-being. I offer to the divine all of my activities, my desires, my accomplishments, and dreams, that they may come to pass. I willingly accept the blessing of my higher self and of the divine in which I partake, so that I may fulfill my purpose in this existence. So that you may have experiences like mine, here are some of my affirmations. I affirm that the human soul evolves to the level of co-creator with higher mind, so that each person on earth receives light in great quantities to use for good. I do this in the names of my teachers and friends in spirit. The second affirmation. Today I call on Spirit to uplift the entire human race to greater heights of understanding, love, joy, grace, purity, happiness, harmony, freedom, enlightenment, peace, victory, success, abundance, creativity, and cooperation. The third affirmation. I offer my services for the fulfillment of the divine plan everywhere. Number 4, I bring to the attention of those I encounter the message of oneness, perfection, grace, love, peace, joy, abundance, and of their ability to participate in these gifts. I energize those who are working to eliminate poverty, hunger, disease, and ignorance of spirit without judgment or conquest. Number 5, I call on all light workers to mobilize, to move forward with the plan of enlightening every living being to the beauty of discipleship and service. Number 6, I call on the divine to pour grace and light upon the planet now and always for humanity's well-being, love, and fulfillment. Number 7, I demand that the appetites of human beings for oneness, unity, and cooperation be quenched daily. Number 8, I send energy to all light workers I know, including my family members, my friends, and those whom I've yet to meet. Number 9, I affirm that I am a blessed being and thank the divine for guiding me lovingly back to my true self. Number 10, I am at peace with the purity of my higher self. It's taken me years to understand that I don't have to do anything. Being is my duty. I feel joyful that I am a light worker, and I believe my discipleship has led me to love myself as one with the divine, and to trust that the love in my heart will draw to me all that I desire and that it will become manifest in the world. This power of affirmation is the gift I give to you, my listeners. I believe divinity is filled with the energy to manifest any and all desires of our higher self. And so, in concert with my higher self, I will all life to be at peace and purified by spirit. I call to the universe and demand all the things that I need to fulfill my higher purpose as a light worker from this day forward until the end of time. And so, my dear friends, callers, I thank you for calling in tonight and listening. I offer you the opportunity to speak one more time. Okay. 951, your line is open.
Hi, MamaYAH. It's Grace.
Faith?
Can you hear me? Grace?
Yes. Your name is Faith?
Grace. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yes, I hear you.
I just wanted to say that your calls are always so enlightening. They always enlighten me. And all the time that you say, is anybody on the call, I always want to say yes, but I'm always inside my work, so it's kind of hard. So I try to sneak out and just to say that I'm listening and that I love your call. Thank you for the time you give, for all this knowledge that we received from you. Love you guys.
Okay, love you too.
That's all I wanted to say. Thank you, MamaYAH, for everything.
To an end, I hope that you will be calling in next week. And, of course, we're going to end with the song. I just will explain this song a little bit to those who don't know. I wrote this song for children, and they sing it, and they enjoy it, and I hope you will too. It's called Love Translation. So peace, love, truth, freedom, and justice, one heart, one mind, one spirit, and thanks again to Truth UnCONPromeyezed Media Network for hosting Talk with MamaYAH.